And in my books, that's a recipe worth keeping. It's something that everyone loves. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, I'm Kathryn, the Aerogarden Homesteader, and today I am going to make some strawberry lemonade concentrate. I'm going to can it this time because I want to actually preserve it up. And welcome back to Thursdays. So I am going to get going on juicing up all these lemons. I got a new lemon squeezer, so hopefully this will make things go a little bit faster, but we'll see. If I have to pull out one of those hand juicer things, I'll do that, but we'll see how far this gets me. So pretty much what I want to do, other than just juice a whole ton of lemons, is I'm going to juice them all and find out how much juice I end up with, because I think my lemon juice is going to be the, I don't know, the rate determining step or whatever. It's going to be the limited ingredient, because I got a whole bunch of strawberries in the fridge. I think I've got like 10 pounds in there. Might be 9, we did eat a little bit of it, but we've definitely slowed down the number of strawberries we've been eating each day since we got them, and so I felt like this would be a good way to preserve up some strawberries for later, make sure they don't go bad. So we picked up a bunch of lemons, and this is what today is going to be. Just doing lemons and strawberries. So everything is going to take time. I will, obviously, you know, this is video, so I can zip on ahead for you guys, but I'm going to be here for a while juicing lemons. I will have the recipe linked below. I will also put it on a blog post for you, so if you want to print it out. I don't put a lot of fluff in my blog posts. There's like a tiny little blurb at the top, a link to the video, and the recipe. That's literally it. So, you know, if you haven't checked out the posts, I normally have them linked as best I can. I have not managed to go back and put any of the old ones in yet, or that many of the old ones, so if there's one that you really want a blog post on for an easy to print recipe, then let me know and I will try to get back to that one and get it done. Boy, I don't know if this one's going to fit. But essentially I need 4 cups of lemon juice to 6 cups of strawberries, and then just a ton of sugar. So let's see how much lemon juice I get. I might strain out the bigger chunks of lemon, but since I'm pureeing the strawberries, they're going to have like little chunks anyway, so I'm not sure how critical it is to get all the pulpy bits out. I could throw that in the blender as well and get rid of some of the pulpy bits that way too. And I have set up an outdoor canning station. I will show you that, so I don't have to worry about heating up the house any more than heating up a pot of liquids to melt sugar will incur. So hopefully it won't be too bad. It is getting quite hot out. I feel like we've gotten lucky so far, but yeah, the weather, summer weather is definitely upon us. I ended up with a little over 7 cups of lemon juice. I'm not going to top it off with any of the bottled stuff because I'm not a huge fan of the flavor of it, but I am going to get going on my strawberries. I am going to need a little over 9 cups of strawberries. I guess I'll just measure them whole. It said to pare the tops off and slice them. I might need to slice them. You can obviously fit more in the cup if they are sliced down a little, so we'll see. But in the end, they need to be pureed and then added to the lemons. I did end up straining the lemon juice because there was a lot of seeds in there more than anything. I'm going to also remove some of the excess white on my strawberries. But I did want to make sure I get out all the seeds, obviously, and the pulp is a byproduct of that, so the pulp goes too. Put these small ones in whole. So I do have, finally got a Vitamix, and I will be using that to puree all the strawberries up. And then it's basically add the sugar, heat it up until the sugar is melted, put it in the jars, and process. And it's 15 minutes of processing time. So it's a pretty quick recipe. It's just like all the prep steps take a while. If you have like fresh squeezed lemon juice sitting around and frozen strawberries and all that, I'm sure you could whip it up pretty quickly, but I had to squeeze by hand. I did do so I did one bag with the handheld lemon squeezer, and I did the other bag with the twisty lemon squeezer. because I don't have an electric one. And I know that the bags are different, you know, different berries and all that, but it just felt like I got more juice from the twisty one than the handheld one. So, I don't know, your mileage may vary, but it felt like I got more. And I'm sure it's because the berries were they just happened to be juicier in that one bag, but who knows. If you have a decision to make, I did actually find it a little easier to use the, you know, not the handheld squeezy one, but just the twisty one. I found it slightly easier, so, you know, I know I'm going to pay for it tomorrow. My wrists are going to be sore and my arms and all that, but, you know, I don't do this every day. I can afford to just, you know, give it a squeeze the old-fashioned way and then, you know, deal with it. Okay, well, I think I'm almost there. I'll put another one in. Now, I'm not sure how many strawberries I can puree all at once. Alright, well, I'm sure you don't need to see me hulling strawberries. I will just put them in my Vitamix, I will puree them till smooth and add them to the lemon juice. Then I will come back and I will add the sugar and get it all dissolved so you can continue following along. Okay, that didn't take too long, but it felt like it took forever. That is my almost 9 cups of strawberries. I did cut back just a tiny bit because the lemon juice, when I took out all of the seeds and pulp, you know, it's going to affect the final volume. So I'm assuming I had closer to 6 cups of lemon juice, which means I need 9 cups of berries. And that's what I did. And so I also need 9 cups of sugar. So this is I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes while I count all this out so I don't lose track. And I hope my pot's big enough. Pot might not be big enough, but we're probably going to go with it. Okay, I know that seems like a lot of sugar, but this is a concentrate. So, it will be diluted. I think it's 1 part concentrate to 2 parts water, although that could change. It depends on just the way you like it. Some people like it a little more, you know, a little sweeter. You put a little less water, a little less sweet, you put more water. So it's a personal preference on how to dilute it, but I think the recipe said to do 1 to 2. Alright, see if we can get this done. And my kitchen is an absolute disaster right now. Got lemon juice everywhere, which I had to clean up. The spray radius on lemon juice is a lot further than you think. I'm also a little concerned. I got lemon juice all over my hands, and I have to go outside later. And I'm afraid to get that, like, there's sunburning you can get if you have lemon juice on your hands, or citrus juice. So I have to keep my hands in my pockets, I guess. I can't remember what it's called. And maybe it's not a problem. I don't know. Maybe I'll be fine, but I'd rather not have a sunburn on my hands for a small amount of sun exposure. So let me see if I can figure out how much juice I have in here. I have 4.5 quarts. So that is 9 pints. Of course, I only have room for 8 pints in my canner, so I will have to double check how many pints I have in my canner. 6... Yeah, I'm pretty sure I managed to get 8 quarts to fit in my canner. 2 of them were wide mouth, and that kind of takes up a lot of space because they are bigger around. So I am probably going to end up with 1 in the fridge, which is fine. Because, you know, it's nice to test things out. It does say to not boil it, but to literally get it up to warm enough. There is a trick. You can take a little bit of liquid, and if you run it between your fingers and it feels grainy, there's probably more sugar in it that hasn't dissolved, but the problem with this is it's going to have strawberry seeds. So you're going to have to test really carefully to make sure you're not just feeling a seed between your fingers. It's not warm yet, so I'm sure the sugar has not dissolved. I'm going to give it a little bit at least. My jars are currently out warming, so I have my canner outside. The station I have it's a prep cart. It's a metal prep cart with a metal top on it, and I feel comfortable running my electric canner out there. If it had been a plastic top or, you know, some other wood surface, you know, something that's flammable, I would have had more qualms doing this. I normally put a cookie sheet, you know, I flip it upside down and I put that on top of plastic tables if I have to do like my turkey roaster or, you know, anything like that that is a heat source, slow cooker. But now that I have a prep cart with a metal, you know, stainless steel top, I feel more comfortable having a full-on canning station outside now. So it's the Presto pressure canner that also water bath cans. So you can only water bath can like pints and half pints or smaller. Basically smaller than a pint you can can it. You can't water bath can quarts because it's not deep enough. But one of these days it might be worth picking up a induction burner, and I don't know if an induction burner would work because I don't have a stainless steel pot that I can... My steamer pots are actually made out of aluminum, I think. They're those tamale pots. So maybe I'm just stuck not doing quarts until the fall when it cools off. But we'll see. Okay, so my hands are clean despite all the strawberry stuff all over it. Okay, that feels like it might actually be dissolved. So I am going to turn this off, wash my hand again, get everything set up outside, and I will show you what I am doing. Okay, I got everything set up. I don't normally use this, but it's really windy today and there's just pollen everywhere, and even though I cleaned the surface, it's not staying clean. So I don't trust that I can keep that surface clean, so I just have a spoon rest to keep my stuff on. So I'm going to pull a hot jar and get filling. I mean, it's basically the same as what you would do for every other canning session. This one we can leave like a ½ inch headspace. It's 15-minute processing time, and I do want to make sure I'm stirring it because a lot of the stuff is coming up to the top floating, so I want to kind of distribute it evenly across all of the jars. Now it does say that you can skim any foam. I don't feel like there's that much foam on here, so I will just stir it in and get it going. I don't think I can fit any more jars in my canner, so I will just go with what I have. And yeah, I'll just put whatever doesn't fit in a jar in the fridge and we'll just enjoy it. Okay, so now that my canner is full, I'm just going to get the lid on and I'm just going to get this started, and it will take care of everything all on its own. I want to make sure it's on vent. And there we go, 15 minutes, it will time it all for me. So I've got, it looks like a little more than 2 cups left, so I will just put that in a jar and put it in the fridge and we'll just have it later. This is how the strawberry lemonade turned out. It actually turned out really good. Now, if you don't like the seeds, I'm sure they're easy to strain out. I left them in, but, you know, one of my kids complained about them, so I'll probably end up straining them out in future. I'll just need a fine mesh strainer. I don't feel like that's a problem, but, you know, some people, it's a texture issue for some, so it's one of those, it's your choice, however you want it. I diluted this 2.5 times, which was probably slightly more water than it needed. It was kind of a 2 wasn't enough water and 2.5 was a little too much water. So I think I would do a generous 2 times just to get the dilution that I felt worked for us, but it's just personal preference, and you know, just taste it on the first dilution just so that you know where it stands for the rest of them. I do have another video where I made strawberry lemonade, a kiwi lemonade, and a kiwi strawberry lemonade. I will make sure to link that and you can go check that out. Those are not recipes that I canned. You can certainly just not can this as well and just store it in your fridge or freezer until you're ready to use it. Obviously it won't store for that long in the fridge, and you don't want to store it for too long in the freezer without having a loss of, you know, nutrient and texture and taste and all that. But I thought this turned out really well. I am happy to have some of this on my pantry shelf, and I want to make more, honestly. It turned out really good. Everyone loved it, and that's, in my book, that's a recipe worth keeping, is something everyone loves. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll have some videos up at the end that you might also enjoy, and I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.